Okay, well,
GTR.
I'm just trying to. Josh, you're holding on to a misunderstanding on your part. It's
No,
not
it's
a
not a
misunderstanding from
misunderstanding.
me.
I'm
It's
reporting
you.
to you history, what you said in the past, and you're
Yes,
denying it.
and it's a
Anyone?
statement.
Okay, that we can just do this and we'll move on. Tell your followers to go investigate the truth.
If you've made your way to this video, you might be aware that the Canadian atheist has some gripes with atheist Rue and Skullduggery's attitudes on race and crime. At a great personal cost to myself, I sat down and absorbed the bile that Josh had to spew on Anthony and Devon's New Year's Day stream. Josh's position in this hangout, which is the same position he takes whenever he discusses this topic, is that the people he's having the conversation with are misconstruing the stats. I'm not entirely sure how the people he's arguing with are misconstruing the stats, seeing as the stats are not fabricated, and they have never used the stats to come to the conclusion that because there are more black people who commit crime, there is a causal link between blackness and crime. The point that Rue and Anthony are trying to make is that a disproportionately high number of criminals are black, and that this stat should not be controversial if you accept facts about reality. Josh will counter this claim by bringing up stats about mental health, poverty, and the police force being racist, as if that is relevant to the topic that he was just discussing. It's not, and I don't think he realizes how he shifted the conversation from its starting point. But to the point of the video. I dislike Josh because I dislike blatant hypocrisy. A few weeks ago in a hangout with Anthony, he asked Anthony to rebut FBI stats that essentially stated that 50% of homicides committed by police officers in the United States were not justified.
No, he's saying that
Yes.
99% of police killing people is justified.
Which it's not.
Really?
Yes, you have no statistics to back that up. And I actually looked up the truth. It's actually
Okay,
closer
so what is the percentage of justified homicide by police officers in the US?
41 to 46%.
So half of the people that they kill is unjustified
Yes.
in America.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's you're implying that the other half that are killed that are innocent, or there wasn't enough probable cause to shoot them in the back or something like that.
So just to clarify, you're saying 54% of the people that are justifiably, or what you would say unjustifiably, killed by police officers in America, 54% of them are unjustified.
Yes,
Wow, I'd be amazed if that was true.
it is. From the FBI statistics, that's what they've ruled.
Okay. So
Like, do
let's
you
say
have
that-
any other evidence to provide otherwise, or
Oh,
like where did you get your source for this?
Okay, well, you've done your homework and I haven't. So let's go with that and say that that's true. Where does that leave us, Josh?
Well, that leaves us with a
So
lie.
how many people are killed by police officers per year?
I haven't looked into that.
Well, that would definitely give us a frame of reference, wouldn't it? I would like a citation on that. If you could put it in the channel link there, I'll post it out to the main chat.
I'll have it to you later. It's from The Guardian.
The Guardian, a newspaper in England.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
yeah, it's off the FBI statistics that they.
Okay, well, send me the FBI statistics, please.
I will get those to you.
For someone who is so hung up about citing sources' incredible stats, you think that he himself would at the very least bring these stats with him to the conversation. He did not. Even worse, the stats came from The Guardian. Even worse than that, it seems as though The Guardian might have made the stats up, because when pressed for this information later on Twitter, he admitted that no such stats were published by the FBI. I think that bears repeating. The man who is so pedantic about the citing of sources brings fake stats to a conversation and doesn't acknowledge that these stats were non-existent until long after the conversation is done and he's being confronted about it on Twitter by me. This is not a mundane claim. He was essentially claiming that over half of police killings were executions of innocent civilians. You would think that with a claim that serious, he would come with some serious evidence supporting it. But he didn't. Not only was he citing evidence that was non-existent. He didn't even bring the fake-cited evidence from The Guardian. Yet he still wanted Anthony to rebut this in a live hangout. This is not reasonable discourse. Now, getting Josh to admit that his stats were, well, fictional, was much akin to pulling teeth. It took some doing to get him to admit that, no, he did not have these stats. And I'm going to show you the Twitter conversation that I had with him. And the first response I got from him floored me. I found it remarkable. So I, a third party who has had no dealings with anyone in this discussion and only recently became interested in this discussion, ask him to back up his stats for his outrageous claim, and his first reply to me is about Devon Tracy. Now, I don't know what the context for the 99% stat he's bringing up in this tweet is. I know what it's not, though. It's not at all related to my question, and it's not related to the conversation that he had with Anthony, so it's entirely irrelevant. He brings it up as if to say, Rue doesn't source, so I have no obligation to source either. This is not how adults should go about having a conversation. Josh doesn't know me, so when I try to hold him to account for the things he says, his response should have nothing to do with anyone but himself. He should not have to bring Devon into this, as if Devon absolves him of his responsibility to be honest. So, after an unreasonable length of time, he does finally admit that the FBI does not have any stats that corroborate his claim. I'm not sure what to take away from this interaction that I've had with Josh. He deflects when Devon and Anthony bring up black crime stats by talking about poverty and mental health. He deflects when I call him about the stats he has fabricated by saying that Devon also fabricates stats. Perhaps it's that he has a problem with responsibility, and he doesn't want to hold black people responsible for the crimes they commit, and he doesn't want to be held responsible for the lies he says. Now, I can already tell that you are getting excited from the way I phrased that last sentence, so before you say something else you might regret, allow me to preemptively retort. I am not saying that all black people are responsible for the crimes committed by some black people. That's also not what Anthony was saying. That's also not what Devon was saying. No one is saying that. All anyone is saying is that the crime rate among the black population is disproportionately high, and we are against the criminals among the black population that are committing crime. Also, it should not be controversial to acknowledge the truth of this position. To take any stance in opposition to this is to explicitly endorse crime. Now, I know you do not endorse crime, so I'm compelled to ask, why do you continue to make yourself out to be such a cuck by arguing on this issue? There should be nothing controversial about what I've said. That you allow this to continue to be a sticking point makes you out to be an unreasonable pedant at best and a proponent of crime at worst.